How far can Luka Doncic and the Mavericks go this season? I don't think that anybody thinks that they're a real threat to win at all. But how far can Luka Magic carry the Mavs in the bubble? Listen, Luka Doncic, he's special, man. Dare I say generational. But how far can his talents carry this Dallas team in this loaded Western Conference? See, when you got the Lakers with LeBron and Davis, the Clippers with Kawhi and Paul George, the Rockets with Harden and Westbrook, a team like Dallas can get lost in the mix. They have no player on the team that's made multiple All-Star appearances, not one. They have a coach that hasn't won a playoff series since the 2011 finals, and it's 2020. Man, the Dallas Mavericks, they found themselves stuck in mediocrity. That's until they made that draft day trade to get Luka Doncic, in exchange for the 5th pick Trae Young and a top 5 protected pick the next season, which turned out to be Cam Reddish. But adding Doncic, that was just the first piece. Last January, the Mavs made another trade, but this one was a much more lopsided trade. Dallas acquired Kristaps Porzingis and Tim Hardaway Jr. from the Knicks. Now these two are the supporting cast that Doncic needed to go from a lottery team last season to an offensive powerhouse this season. Dallas is ranked 2nd in three-point attempts per game, behind just the three-point happy Houston Rockets. And they're ranked 3rd in fewest turnovers a game. And they're also 3rd in most points scored per game. But what's truly remarkable is that this Dallas team, not the 2011 Mavs that won the title with Dirk, not the Golden State Warriors who had 4 Hall of Famers on it, and not even the Michael Jordan Bulls. No, the 2020 Mavs team, this team is ranked #1 in the history of the NBA in offensive rating at 116.7. We're talking about the #1 rated offense in the history of the game. That's what I call Luka Magic. So in this journey, I'm going to be breaking down the Dallas Mavs X-Factors. Make sure you stick around to the end of this video as I'll be giving you my prediction on the Dallas Mavericks 2020 season. Let's get it.
Are you ready?
Welcome back to Journey of a Ballaholic, the best talk show for basketball addicts. I'm your host, General Hannibal X. Now, if you're new, on this channel, you're going to be getting my passionate and in-depth analysis on the hottest NBA and college basketball topics. Listen, I'm a ballaholic, absolutely addicted to basketball. And like everyone, I have my own opinions. But if you like opinions that are backed by facts, go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, but also be sure that you tap that bell notification so that you'll be updated whenever I drop new videos, which is every Monday and Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, if we're going to discuss the X factors for this Dallas team, we have to start with their best players. See, unlike the teams that I've discussed on past X Factor videos, the Mavs' best players, Luka and Porzingis, they're the X factors simply because they're so young, they're so inexperienced, that we don't really know how well they're going to perform in the playoffs. But let's just be honest. I mean, let's keep it 100. Luka is just way too good to be considered an X factor. And Porzingis, his nickname, the Unicorn, that's truly fitting for his style and his size. Porzingis was booed by the Knicks fans on draft night. Don't forget that. And I gotta be honest, watching those videos of him shooting over a chair in those pre-draft workouts, I wasn't really impressed with those drills. I mean, that wasn't some of the most impressive stuff we've ever seen. But I do have to give credit. Phil Jackson was right when he told the Lakers to draft him. And of course they didn't. They, along with the Philadelphia 76ers, they both passed on the 7'3" Latvian Unicorn. Now, when the Dallas Mavs are able to get Kristaps as well as Doncic and pair those two together, that was truly a match made in heaven. The skills of these two puts a strain on defenses unlike anything that we've ever seen. Listen, I get it. We just got finished watching Durant and Curry go to 3 straight finals. So I'm not necessarily making that comparison. I'm not talking about from a talent perspective strictly. I'm talking about from a spacing perspective, a size perspective. Luka is 6'7", Curry's about 6'3", Porzingis is 7'3", and Durant is like 6'11". So the size difference is obvious. But what many don't know is that Luka has hit an insane 22 3-pointers from beyond 30 feet this season. And Porzingis at 7'3", he's hit 21 from 30 plus feet. Then you add the shooters that they have around him. Man, this offense is an absolute nightmare to guard. Look at this graphic right here. Luka, who takes the most threes in a game at 9, he's the worst shooter in the starting lineup. When Porzingis is in and he's on that box with his size, who do you double off to give help? When Luka's working that pick and roll, who do you leave to help out? Luka has an amazing ability to throw those over-the-head passes. And with his size, his vision, and his accuracy, those two-handed over-the-head passes are like darts going through the defense. But a very underrated talent that Luka has is his poise. See, many young guards, they tend to easily be rushed. When you apply pressure to them, they tend to speed up. Not Luka, man. Listen, he moves at his own pace and is very similar, very reminiscent of James Harden. He's able to navigate through defenses as a consistent triple threat. He can take it all the way to the hole and finish with his size, or he can stop on a dime and drill it from anywhere on the court. Those step back threes that he has, they become legendary. but he can also use misdirection with those LeBron-like no-look passes. And he can hit an open teammate from many different angles anywhere on the court. See, another aspect of Luka that gets recognized, but I still think is kind of underrated, that's his high IQ. And I'm really particularly speaking about when he doesn't have the ball. Everybody knows how brilliant he is with the ball in his hand. But unlike a guy like James Harden, when Luka is playing off the ball, very rarely do you see him just standing around watching the play unfold. Luka has a knack of giving the ball up and then relocating. But he doesn't just move to an open space. That's what most NBA players are taught to do. Luka thinks and moves like it's a chess game. Doncic will oftentimes give the ball up and then move to a spot where he knows the defense is rotating from. See, that way he's not moving to a spot that's kind of obvious, which is what most players do. He's moving to a place that's going to be effective for him to get the ball back. And that's when he has the defense in scramble mode. Because now he can be able to catch the ball and he can either score or make the right pass. And Doncic is always making the right pass. Listen, it would be blasphemous for me to say that Luka was the next great Bird or the next LeBron. Those guys are top 10 all-time legends. But Luka has something that both of those guys had in common. That's his size, mixed with his passing, mixed with his rebounding, his clutchness. But most importantly, it's his ability at a young age to make those around him better. Two guys that I think that have really benefited from having Luka as their point guard basically is Tim Hardaway Jr. and Seth Curry. Hardaway is shooting a career high from three at almost 41% from downtown. In particular, Hardaway is shooting a career high 46.3% on corner threes. That's where he's spotted up, waiting, and Luka is literally hitting him on the money, ready right in the pocket to catch and shoot. Then you have one of their biggest X factors, which is Seth Curry. He's an absolutely elite shooter, as elite as they come. Yes, I understand. Steph Curry, that's his brother, and Steph is the greatest shooter of all time. But did you know that Seth Curry is actually the better three-point shooter of the two? No, seriously. Okay, listen, I'm half serious. Seth, from a statistical standpoint, he has a higher career three-point percentage over Steph Curry. Seth shoots 44.3% from downtown, while his brother Steph Curry is shooting 43.5% from deep on his career. Now, Seth Curry is also having a career year now that he's playing alongside of Luka. Not just from outside, but across the board if you look at his per 36 numbers. This season, Seth Curry is shooting a career high 45.3% from deep. Now, his brother Steph, he hasn't shot that well from deep since 2016. Now, that was his 73-win MVP season. Damn! Now, before I get annihilated in the comment section, I do understand Seth doesn't take nearly as many shots as Steph does. But regardless, you have to agree that Seth Curry is an elite shooter, period, point blank. But their biggest X factor, he's the biggest guy on the court at all time. Boban Marganovic, the gentle giant. Now, I know you may ask, how does a guy that averages less than 10 minutes a game become the biggest X factor for the Mavs? It's simple. Boban's not a 40-minute-a-night guy. He's not a guy that you're going to count on to dominate consistently. But he's a guy that in the right matchups, he can be a game changer. Take, for instance, the last regular season game of the season. Things were heating up. You had teams fighting for position, and Dallas played the Denver Nuggets. That's a team that has a legit top 2 center in the NBA in Nikola Jokic. So what did Boban do? How about he held the Joker to 14 points and 13 rebounds, while putting up 31 points and 17 rebounds himself? You heard that right. 31 and 17 for Boban. Now, he did it on 12 for 20 from the field in just 31 minutes of action. Actually, that was the only game that he played over 30 minutes all season. And as a matter of fact, he only played in 3 other games all year where he got more than 20 minutes of playing time. Well, let's look at what the big fella did in those 3 games. How about 14 and 12 in 22 minutes? Another game was 13 and 11 in just 20 minutes. And then 15 and 16 in 22 minutes. Listen, man, I'm not saying that Boban's going to be the next Shaq or Kareem. But there's a legit possibility that the Mavs take on the Denver Nuggets in round 1. With the size and the efficiency of Boban, the size and the skill of Porzingis, the size and the all-around talent of Luka Doncic, you mix all that in with the other Mavs to make up an offense that's playing at a historic pace? Listen, I'm calling it now. The Dallas Mavericks will upset the Denver Nuggets in 7 games if they meet. Another team that I really think doesn't want to see the Mavs in round 1, that's the Utah Jazz. I'm telling you, man, let either the Nuggets or the Jazz get the Mavs in the first round, and neither of those teams are going to get any home court advantage. So you got to remember, they're used to playing at altitude where it's a lot easier for them to play, and teams are kind of at a disadvantage playing in those arenas. That's not the case in this Orlando ball. Now, that's just the Jazz and the Nuggets. But what about the other potential first-round matchups? where you got the Clippers and then you got the Rockets. Those are the other two teams alongside the Jazz and the Nuggets that will potentially face the Mavs in the first round. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I think that the Rockets and the Clippers, they got too much elite talent for Luka to overcome them in his first playoff run. Now, if he does it, I'm not gonna necessarily say I'm surprised because Luka has been amazing, but I just don't think that Dallas will give those teams enough of a test really to really be able to push them to 7 or even to win a series. Now, I do have to be honest with you though. I do think that Dallas will give the Clippers a tougher test than the Houston Rockets because that small ball lineup that the Rockets play, man, it would truly make Boban and definitely Boban, but possibly even Porzingis, unless he's on his A game, it will make them absolutely obsolete. Whereas the Clippers, they play a big man like Zubac who starts the game. Then they have Joakim Noah that they just added who's going to get time at the 5, along with Montrezl Harrell. None of those Clippers bigs are going to force Porzingis or even Boban away from the basket. Now, I got to be honest though. I do still think that if the Clippers play the Mavs in the first round, I pick the Clippers in 6 games over Dallas. If the Rockets play the Mavs in the first round, I'm going with the Rockets to win. And I think that would honestly, the Rockets would probably win that one in 5. And once again, I love Luka, I love Porzingis, and I love how this team is really meshed on offense. But defensively, how do you guard Harden or Westbrook? If you're playing against the Clippers, who's going to be guarding Kawhi? Who guards Paul George? You know, I just don't really see it from a defensive standpoint. But a team that doesn't have that kind of elite talent, like I said, like the Denver Nuggets or the Utah Jazz, man, give me the Dallas Mavericks over either one of them. The Dallas Mavericks, they made one of the best trades in NBA franchise history. Not just franchise history, but in the history of the game. And this actually was a trade where both teams won, which is kind of rare. But at the end of the day, as much as I love Trae Young, the Dallas Mavericks won this trade. Listen, this right here is a franchise-altering type of deal, where you're getting Luka Doncic, who has potential to not just be an all-star, not just be a superstar. This guy has the potential to be one of the greatest of all time. And once again, it's not a knock on Trae Young because I do like Trae Young's potential. I love his shot, I love his handle, I love his poise, I love his clutchness. But Trae Young's not Luka, man. Trae Young at his peak isn't, honestly, if I'm being quite honest with you, I don't think he's the next Steph Curry. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think he's efficient enough. I don't think his shot is that good enough to be considered in that Steph Curry category. But he could be definitely a perennial all-star, definitely has the potential to lead the Atlanta Hawks to the playoffs, and, you know, maybe with some added help down the road, maybe they can make some noise. But Dallas, the Dallas Mavericks, they are a team that's going to go from lottery last year, a team to playoff team this year, where the right move here or there by Mark Cuban, this team could be a contender very soon. So what do you think? Can the Dallas Mavericks make a deep playoff run this year, or will they be going home after round 1? Go down to the comment section below and let me know. Listen, if you missed my series where I broke down my top 5 title contenders and then I revealed the team that I think is going to win the 2020 championship, go ahead and click the box right here. If you haven't subscribed yet, click the logo up top. Listen, I appreciate you for taking a look at this video. Remember, stay safe in the streets, and remember, we still want justice for the cops who killed Breonna Taylor. Peace.